In 2016, Valve was sued in a class action lawsuit, which proved to aim that Valve was using Counter-Strike and cases to facilitate online gambling, which was easily accessible to anyone with internet access, including and as well as children. And although Valve had won that lawsuit, it was just the first of many aimed at proving that Valve was responsible for millions of dollars worth of online gambling going illegally unregulated. Currently, Valve is also undergoing a lawsuit with New York State, claiming that Valve's loot boxes and cases are illegal and unregulated gambling accessible to children. But why am I talking about Valve and Counter-Strike in a Roblox video? Well, it's because I believe that the current issue with Roblox games and gambling is just as bad, if not worse, than the issues involved in Valve's gambling lawsuits. And in today's video, I want to talk about how gambling became so popular on Roblox, why it's bad, and what could potentially happen to Roblox as a platform or individual game creators due to the potential repercussions of illegal actions against Roblox gambling. If you enjoy, make sure to subscribe, since basically nobody is according to this graph, and I'm currently live at twitch.tv/Reaconteur 20 minutes after this video goes up. Along with that, there's also a new song cover up for all of my YouTube members to hear, so if you want to hear my song covers, then buy a YouTube membership at any tier. Now let's get straight into it. Alright, so first of all, let's go over how gambling became so popular on Roblox in the first place. The first major addition of skin cases on Roblox that most people would probably name would probably be Phantom Forces. But this wasn't what really sparked the huge Roblox gambling epidemic that can be seen in almost every Roblox game today. At the time, it was mostly harmless and really didn't affect the platform too much, but Phantom Forces added skins for weapons along with cases for them back in December of 2016, specifically on December 8th. Although this was the first game to include skins that was widely recognized, it wasn't the first to do this, because barely a year prior, in 2015, Counterblox, the Counter-Strike inspired Roblox game, would add skins and cases to their game, which was actually the key inspiration for Phantom Forces to add skin cases to their game, which is funny because it all leads back to CSGO, because Counterblox was a Counter-Strike inspired Roblox game that added cases, and Phantom Forces did this too. After Phantom Forces would add skins, eventually so would the popular FPS game Arsenal in 2018. Arsenal, similarly to Counterblox, is a Source-inspired FPS game. Arsenal is actually very heavily inspired by both Counter-Strike and TF2, but also other Source engine titles like Quake. However, the cases aspect of it is mostly taken from Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2 with their crates. The game's movement and gun mechanics are very reminiscent of the Source engine on purpose, so once again, Arsenal was inspired to add skin cases by Valve and in part Counter-Strike in all of their games. Now, these three games were the major start of skin cases in Roblox games, but they were at the very least fair. And yes, a lot of other popular games like Assassin at the time and even Murder Mystery indulged in skin cases, but all of these games made it very easy to obtain in-game currency, which could be used for skin cases. At worst, these rates were also higher than Counter-Strike's abysmal rates for legendaries, or golds in Counter-Strike. For example, Counterblox, which had the rarest chances out of any of these games mentioned so far, had a 0.5% chance for knives and gold skins, which was still double that of the actual Counter-Strike or CS cases chances, and the ones in Counterblox could be earned by just playing the game. All these games made cases easy to get with in-game currency, but yeah, they do put rare drop rate items in because having something rare feels good, and being able to flex it is just fun, right? Roblox games then began to abuse this to an extent through means that weren't just cosmetic: races and clans. One of the biggest offenders to this is actually one of, if not my favorite Roblox game of all time, Rogue Lineage. Rogue Lineage races were gambling at nearly its worst. Well, you know, that's what I thought about it at the time, but it somehow does get worse. The rarest Rogue Lineage races were singular percent chances, usually around 0.8 to 1.2% chance individually, and with each roll costing 300 Robux, you were spending about $3 just for a chance to get something better. And it could get very expensive, especially if you wanted specific races. And with how much better certain races were than others, it was a huge problem, with the game being sort of pay to win. Like, for those of you who never played Rogue Lineage, allow me to compare. One race had a passive where when you get hit and reach below 20% health, which by the way, 20% health is basically one shot in Rogue Lineage, you would get double damage for 40 seconds. Like any fight was lasting that long, right? They wouldn't. Now that doesn't sound too bad, but another race gets to see through walls and gets an active ability that gives you 10 free dodges if you get the racial progression for it. Another race gets a passive shield that stops them from taking damage and stun for their first combo. And keep in mind, those two I just mentioned were both 1% races, compared to the most common race in the entire game. But the developers then started making those rates even lower in other games. For some reason, Demon Slayer games in particular were egregious offenders of this, with Project Slayers having clans locked at 0.1% reroll rates, costing the average person thousands of Robux at a time. And there was another Demon Slayer game, I forgot which, but they had an ultra mythical clan that had a 0.00325% drop rate, which was absolutely insane. But this isn't where the gambling stopped, and in fact, it only got worse from here. On December 3rd of 2023, the game Souls RNG would release. This game was gambling in its purest form. The entire game was made to gamble. The game is literally called RNG, Random Number Generator, and to this day it still pulls over 80,000 concurrent players on updates. The game is lazy, it's boring, and the entire point of it is to appeal to your dopamine receptors by making you feel good about rarity. The game's model is to get kids addicted to gambling because in order to spin for new effects, you need to wait to regenerate rolls. But this takes time, so they give you the ability to have faster rolls, more rolls, faster regenerating rolls. Every game pass in this game is made to supplement your ability to gamble faster. And with chances that go as low as 1 in 2.5 billion, they literally expect you to sit there and give them money and playtime to enjoy the feeling of winning the lottery without any of the benefit. And on top of that, the game is just lazy. I do hate the word slop, but this game is slop. The entire game is VFX spam made for just showing off. Not that the VFX creators aren't talented or valuable, but if literally all you have to do to make an update for your game is VFX, it is not that hard to update your game. Like, yeah, and before anyone says that, but the VFX are good, and then VFX can take hours to make on average, the creators of this game don't even have to make as many as they used to, because now they put fan-made VFX into their game and don't pay the people who make them. And even if they were still making all of the VFX in-house, that still doesn't mean it's not mostly lazy. Because other games, I'm going to use anime games as an example because they're some of the biggest VFX having games, will have large VFX, but then on top of those large VFX, they'll have to script hitboxes and moves and have animations for them. Souls RNG is literally just VFX. There is no other work put into it. All the devs had to do was make a little spinner, and then they put VFX in it. That's the entire game. And the influence Souls RNG left on the platform was awful, because people realized that gambling is fun. This might be the most brain-dead thing I've played in my entire life. And because of that, now Roblox developers abuse this in any way that they can. Random games have slots and case spins now for basically no reason, but the most interesting example of how the platform changed is Rivals, also known as Roblox Rivals. This game has cases for skins that you can buy for Robux, about 250. Along with that, the drop rates are on par or worse than Counterblocks, but at least in Counterblocks' case, you could actively earn cases for free by just playing the game. Oh, but wait! You can earn cases for free in Roblox Rivals. Every season there's a season pass, and by grinding it you can get a whole 10 tickets. And 10 tickets is equal to 1 case every season. A season is 2 to 3 months. On top of codes and events, you can earn a total of maybe 3 to 4 cases every 2 to 3 months from Roblox Rivals, with drop rates that are on par with actual Counter-Strike. But that's the point, isn't it? A little kid on Counter-Strike, for example, who has no money, will never gamble. He'll never open a case. He won't have a desire to ask his mom for money to open cases because he'll never have a taste of it. I think the fact that they give you a case every 3 months essentially is even more predatory because it gets kids potentially hooked on opening cases in Rivals, which then incentivizes them to buy more cases, which are literally 1-to-1 the same price as low to mid-tier CS cases at 250 Robux, which is around $2.50, which is actually more than a Dreams and Nightmare case right now, which are selling for about $1.85. And given the fact that Roblox Rivals doesn't have a user-owned market, the profit goes all to the developers and Roblox, and these prices won't decrease. And before you think it's at least better than Counter-Strike because they don't have keys, well, they do have keys, so you have to buy a case, and then you have to buy a case key. And before all the Rivals players come into this video's comment section defending the game like they're literally the developers behind it, I know that you earn keys by just playing, but the problem is that keys are still like the main currency in this game, so while you do have to buy cases and you do earn keys for free, you still use keys for basically everything else as well. Just like Counter-Strike, except right now the Roblox Rivals prices are actually higher than Counter-Strike prices. What? And I think that this is downright predatory, because these developers know that if they give little kids just a little bit, just a few cases every few months, it'll make them more likely to spend money on it. They'll ask their parents for Robux, they'll take the Robux they do have, they'll spend it on more cases, and before they know it, all of their Robux are gone, and they want more. And I think that makes this worse than what Counter-Strike does. Because yeah, Counter-Strike is unregulated with their cases, but two things. One, the items in Counter-Strike at least hold value. Because you can't trade items in Roblox games like this, because, you know, that would make it illegal gambling according to Roblox TOS, these items hold no value and are therefore useless. You will only ever lose money by buying cases because you cannot trade the things in these games. At least in Counter-Strike, you can sell items that are worth something. But also, that is a third-party, user-regulated market. Prices go up and down as they do because, you know, the money goes to the users. This goes straight to the developers and is only there to make them money. And yes, Steam does take fees on transactions in the market, but they don't stop people from using third-party marketplaces. And even if they did, you as a Steam user are still more so benefiting from Steam and selling your items through there than you would be from buying cases in this game for more money. Now, what does Roblox TOS actually say about gambling, and why is it bad to include all over Roblox? Well, Roblox TOS forbids gambling, assuming it is done in Robux, for Robux, or items of value. The only real Roblox gambling rules are that you can't gamble using Robux between people, so you can't have a Roblox casino where people bet Robux against you, for example, for the chance to win Robux. This also extends to items of value, so as long as your items aren't tradable, they can be considered as having no value. So only having them in-game through gambling and not allowing them for trade is a safe way to add gambling into your game that only benefits you and not the community while earning you tons of Robux, which is why if you hop into any random Roblox game, if it has skins, it probably has CS-style cases. Now, what does this mean legally? Well, first of all, Roblox has actually already been sued for unrelated gambling causes. Roblox was pretty recently sued by the California government, claiming that they benefited off of and didn't do enough to counter third-party black market gambling websites which targeted children. These sites allow kids to spend Robux to gamble on them by buying shirts and stuff like that, and then the Roblox group would count it, and then they'd let them play little games through digital casinos, which they could then gamble with. Now, while the intentional ignorance side of the suit got ignored and the gambling part of it got ignored by the courts, the negligence part of it didn't, which is part of what has led to all of the recent controversies involving Roblox's protection against children. But the gambling part is left entirely unaddressed. And even if it wasn't, that suit actually only pertained to black market gambling, which is already against Roblox's TOS. It did not include the actual gambling simulation in Roblox games that is currently plaguing the platform for developer profits and game retention. And this is a problem because it is creating a generation of dopamine-addicted ludomaniacs, and in 20 years, some kid who's laughing at Tung Tung Sahur is gonna be losing his house in a casino. Actually, I'm joking, because in 20 years, none of Gen Alpha will be able to afford housing, am I right? So go try and make your fortune. I'm joking, please don't gamble. Look, the point is that these games are actively raising children to be accustomed to gambling for entertainment and potential profit. They quite literally raise degeneracy, and I think it is extremely harmful, which brings me back to my favorite game, Counter-Strike. Currently, Counter-Strike is being sued by New York State in a lawsuit that looks like Valve is gonna win. But Valve didn't win one case. Only one case Valve hasn't won in relation to gambling suits, Germany 2026, where Germany had Valve replace the normal case spinning system with the new X-ray scanner, which would show you what's in a case before you opened it, allowing you to either open it or not open it. The reason why this is significant is because it removed the second motivator for case spins, the spin system. Despite the fact that what item you get is predetermined from the moment you open the case, they have spins that show a line going across an image grid, which gives the illusion that you might have been close to winning something good. However, the spin that landed right next to a rare red or gold item and the spin that landed right next to a blue common item were both blues. Neither of them were actually closer to being a rare item because it's predetermined, and this spinner can act as motivation for people who gamble, thinking that they were close to getting something rare or expensive, and the same thing goes for Roblox games, many of which I think actively have these case spinning systems more likely to place you next to rare items to make you continue gambling, because a lot of the time when you buy cases in these Roblox games, they'll make these spins happen very close or have the same wheel have very rare items in it on purpose. I think it's only a matter of time before someone files a class action lawsuit against Roblox for this because their kids are addicted to gambling, but the problem is not that it's distinctly Roblox's fault as a corporation, but the problem is that they kind of enable it. I believe they do need regulations which prevent simulated gambling and virtual slot machines, but Roblox is only a platform, not an actual individually designed or made game. Individual developers are the people adding these features and following the development trends that lead to these scummy gambling systems. And Roblox is a platform, is only concerned with what makes them money. Black markets and user third-party gambling in black market sites cost Roblox money because it's a way for kids and users on Roblox to get Robux without profiting Roblox directly. Roblox only cares about third-party black markets because it costs them money and they lose from it. If the gambling is in Robux and can't be traded, it can't be sold between people, and it manages to make Roblox money because Robux are needed to purchase these items. And how do you get Robux? You buy them. Roblox Rivals is great for the Roblox COs because it hooks kids and gets them to spend Robux. Souls RNG is great for the Roblox COs because it hooks kids and gets them to spend Robux, which is why the Roblox gambling TOS only actually covers black markets where people bet within each other. If the profit being made isn't going to Roblox, they don't want there to be profit at all. So they continue to allow these predatory gambling additives to be added in games, and they refuse to do anything about it, even though it is literally targeting children. And I've heard arguments in my comments for why Souls RNG is actually a good game, and it just fucking isn't. I don't care if they were the first to do it on Roblox. I don't care if their game is a vaguely original concept as far as Roblox goes. I don't care if it was just two small Roblox developers doing something for fun. They are outright predatory in their gameplay cycle, and they incentivize kids to buy all their game passes to have more fun. Roblox needs to do something about simulated gambling. I expect there to be eventually some sort of class action lawsuit in relation to this because Roblox is becoming an increasingly worse platform due to stuff like this. So what I'm hoping for is that some rich parents see their kids gambling on Roblox and decide to start that class action, because I don't have kids and I can't start it for that reason. But I really implore all of you who may have kids, if you're watching this video, or maybe if you're like a teenager or something with younger cousins, to really keep your children off of Roblox gambling games and to actually monitor what they're playing on Roblox, because a lot of it is a lot more harmful than it seems at first glance. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you agree or for some reason disagree with me, leave your comments down below because I read literally every comment. Along with that, new song cover just dropped, so if you want to hear my song covers by YouTube membership of any tier, my birthday's also in like 2 days from when this video drops, so I won't be live Wednesday, but I am live today. And shout out to my members of tier 2 or higher: Philip, Akio Sugikuni, Zerksky, Fun Guns, Crypto, Broccoli, Delusional Mo, Dev, Suited Wendigo at the maximum tier. I love you, Suited Wendigo. Abrowski, Drizzy Drake fan, and welcome to tier new member, Hey It's Silos, who is at tier 2. I'm gonna call you Silos from now on in these little ending things. Hope you don't mind. I love you all regardless. Hope you all enjoyed. Have an amazing day. Keep your children from gambling, and goodbye.